Is there anything better at morning tea than a scroll? I don't think so. And Amelia Jackson is here to show us her beautiful version. What are we going to be filling these scrolls with?
These ones are going to have a cinnamony butter, but with some hazelnut. Extra nuttiness.
I love this. Now, the most important part is the dough, so we should get started.
Definitely, let's get started. So we're starting with a tanzong base. This is a flour and milk just cooked together.
Right.
And it's just going to add extra softness, extra moisture to our dough. So flour, milk, onto the stove, cook it out for 30 seconds, a minute until it gets nice and thick like this.
Okay.
So we can pop that in.
Yes. So that goes straight into a mixer. Because we're going to be kneading this, aren't we?
We're going to knead this until it's nice and elastic and comes together.
Right.
It's a super moist, soft dough though, so don't be tempted to add too much extra flour. So we can just pretty much add everything in. We've got our flour, we've got our milk, it's enriched with an egg, some yeast, of course, to help it rise, and a pinch of salt. So
that base that we've put in, which I've never seen before, is that traditional in a scroll or not really?
It's not traditional in a scroll. It's actually a Chinese or Japanese base of bread. So you know the sort of milk breads that you get, and they're super soft and fluffy. They start with a roux like this. So this is going to add a really beautiful texture to our scrolls.
Fantastic. So always some salt?
Always some salt, bring out all that flavour.
And for this recipe, the milk doesn't need to be warmed up?
We don't need to warm the milk because the tanzong is still warm from the stove. So that will add our warmth to the dough.
Okay. Which will activate our yeast.
Exactly.
And some butter, it's about, what, 60 grams?
About 60 grams of butter, just a bit more richness in there. And we're going to mix it all together until it becomes nice and elastic and sort of pulls away from the side of the bowl.
Lovely, I'm onto it.
All right, Chazzy, look at this beautiful dough. We took it out of the mixing bowl. We popped it in a little oiled bowl and set it aside for 1 to 2 hours until it's doubled in volume. So we can just dump this out now and knock it back, knock all that beautiful air out.
Look at the little bubbles.
It's a very wet dough, but that's going to give us a really moist scroll.
Okay. It's almost like heartbreaking when you knock back a beautiful dough like this.
It is, isn't it?
All this time just slowly growing and then boom.
Savage. But then you get the satisfaction of dipping your fingers in.
Oh, look at that. Every single time, isn't it? The pleasure of making dough.
I love dough. So we're just going to give it a bit of flour because it is quite sticky. And then roughly, you can flour your hands too.
Yep.
Just start working it out. We want to get it to about 1 centimetre thick. So while I'm doing that, do you want to make the filling?
Can do.
So we're just going a cinnamon butter filling. So some softened butter, a bit of brown sugar to give that caramel note.
Okay.
And a good hit of cinnamon. We want it nice and spicy.
And we're just going to cream this just by hand.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be aerated or anything. It's all going to melt and ooze in the oven anyway. So just get it together.
Speaking of creaming butter and sugar together, you've got a new baking book coming out.
I do.
What's the name of it?
The book is called First Cream the Butter and Sugar.
Great name. And this is one of the recipes from your book.
Yeah. So this dough is actually my master dough recipe that we can use to make scrolls and buns and all sorts of different things. So this is a great recipe to know.
Fantastic. And that was a lot of cinnamon I just added there. Was that, you wanted the whole lot?
I like my buns spicy. If this is too much for you, you can definitely pare it back. But I like it to have a really big cinnamon hit.
Yep.
And you could also go with different spices if you wanted to in there too. Any warm spices would work.
I kept thinking at Christmas, for Christmas morning, having this and adding a few more spices would be just delicious, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's done.
Beautiful. So we are going to get that all over our dough.
Okay.
And you can see I haven't been too particular about it. We're going to roll it up.
Yep. Should I just like spread it out a bit like that?
Yeah.
In little bits and bobs. Sticky. Just be gentle at this stage.
Look, I'm a bit of a bull in the china shop. We don't want to be too precious about our scrolls, but we do want them having that beautiful spiral. So try and spread it all the way over.
Yep.
If you're finding that it's a bit cool before you've added it, you can just give it a little zap in the microwave. Give the butter a bit of a zap.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You want to make sure that butter is at room temperature just so it's easy not only to combine all that cinnamon and the sugar, but so you can spread it just like you're doing there.
So we've spread that out, and now we're going to sprinkle it with that hazelnut meal.
Okay, the whole lot?
We'll see how we go.
Okay. And we could change this to almond if we like. Walnut.
Pistachio, walnut.
Pistachio, that would be so good. You say when?
I think a little bit over there, and then we're good.
Oh, I can just smell this hazelnut. It's like it reminds me of ice cream. My favourite ice cream.
I love hazelnut. All things hazelnut for me.
And now the scroll is taking form. You can see it by just rolling it. We're going to get that snail effect there.
Exactly. Any stickies you can just sort of edge up if you need. But I like to just roll it up. And then just to make sure the whole thing's even, I just give him a little push together.
Tuck him in.
Tuck him in. Make the ends nice and even.
Let me feel that now. Oh, that's soft. Yeah, you know that's going to be good.
Yeah. All right, so we're ready to cut this up, get it onto our baking tray.
And how wide do we want the scrolls to be at this stage?
I like to do them about 2 centimetres. I like them to be really deep scrolls.
Yep. And can we bake these straight away?
We won't bake them straight away. We need to give these a second rise, otherwise they're going to be a bit dense. So cut them all up, pop them onto your tray, and another 30 to 45 minutes until they're really beautiful and puffy, and then we can get them in the oven.
Fantastic.
Justine, those have puffed up. They've doubled in size, so we're going to get them in the oven, 170 degrees, for about 15 to 20 minutes. Great. So those are cooking. We're going to do a coffee cream cheese icing. So I've got some instant coffee. I'll get you to dissolve that with some water. And I've just got butter and some cream cheese here, and I'm just going to start mixing it together by hand.
You really want that cream cheese and butter to be soft so you can work it so it gets light and fluffy just like this.
Yeah, and you need the cream cheese to kind of dissolve throughout the butter, so it won't do it if it's cold. Icing sugar, and I'm going to go in with a good squeeze of vanilla too.
Oh, yes. Vanilla bean paste.
Bit of extra flavour.
Fantastic. And the coffee goes in now or later?
We can pop the coffee in as well.
The whole lot?
Yep, pour it in.
In she goes. What great flavours going on here. You've got hazelnut, cinnamon, coffee.
Yeah.
All the good things.
Hazelnut and coffee are just a match made in heaven.
Well, you've got the hard job of whipping that. I'll just watch in awe and wait for our scrolls to finish cooking. Well, these scrolls were a labour of love, but it's totally worth it when you see them come out of the oven and they cool down and they smell amazing.
The whole room smells amazing.
Yeah.
So we're going to get some icing on there.
Okay.
Good sort of tablespoon, I'd say.
Yeah.
As much or as little as you like, but who doesn't love icing?
There's nothing more satisfying when you go into a bakery fresh in the morning, the first thing, and you see these made in the window, they're looking at you and you need to buy one.
You must have it.
But now we just make them at home.
Exactly. All right, and we can get some nice roasted hazelnuts on top, a little bit of crunch.
Oh, yes, look at that.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Should we give it a taste?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think we deserve it. We've worked hard for it.
We have.
And look at that. The proof is in the pud. You've got that lovely layer there. You can see where it was rolled up. That pastry is unique and soft.
So spongy. I'm going to go straight to the centre.
Oh. I'm lost for words. It's like the gift that keeps on giving, because you get cinnamon, then you get coffee, then you get hazelnut, and that pastry is just so soft and delicate. Oh, Amelia, these are sensational, and these recipes can be found all in your new book. How exciting!
How exciting!
Yum.